Hi, Bobby from Visual Impact here, and today we've been joined by Robbie from Sony, and Robbie's going to be running through two brand new Sony cameras. We've got the PXW-Z190 and the PXW-Z280. Robbie, can you talk us through the main features of these cameras, please?
Okay, so these are our two new cameras. We just showed these first time at NAB.
Okay.
What they are both 4K cameras, and they are a free chip camera. So therefore, we split the actual light coming in, and we have goes to three different colours. Okay. So therefore, more of the traditional way of doing it, rather than our large formats, but actually it gives very, very good picture quality because actually each sensor then works on one colour.
Sure. Are they the same size sensors on both, or?
No. So the 280, which is this one here, is actually a 1/2 inch sensors, okay. And then the 190 is actually then 1/3.
1/3 inch, okay.
So what we have, well, let's concentrate on the 280 because
yes.
that's the flagship.
Absolutely.
And what we have here is probably lots of differences. So what we've done and what we did with the FS7 is when we actually saw it and come to the Mark II, lots of things that what people wanted us to change to make it better. So we've actually looked at our 200 camera, the PX200, and we've seen what needs to be actually changed and what to make it better. So the first one, 4K.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
This is now a 4K camera, and what it actually does, we've actually added probably 14 major changes to it to actually make it better. So okay. If we run through those,
sure.
What we're also going to, I think, do in the future is do a webinar which actually goes through these
yes.
a lot more detail. So yes. We'll run through them quite quickly. So the first one, 4K. So that's our first one. Really nice. People have been asking for it. This is actually the world's first free chip 4K camera.
Wow.
So therefore, both of these, so it's a really good viewpoint for us.
Yeah,
so. Yeah. We've also added in a high-end codec. So where with the FS7, we actually have the 4K 60p at 10 bit
yes.
at 422. Same codec is actually in the 280.
Wow.
Yeah. So therefore, you're going to get the best quality you out, and it's 600 megabits. So therefore, the quality exactly the same.
Yeah.
We've also then added in the electronic variable ND filter that actually has been such a success on the FS5 and then on the FS7, and it's been added into this camera as well.
Really is a game changer, that electronic.
Absolutely. So you can either do it manually or actually run it in auto mode and actually keep depth of field. So it's a really nice camera. And I think if you're running around with this, that auto will come into its own.
Absolutely, so indoor, outdoor.
Yeah, in a news environment when you're chasing someone, it's actually going to really, really help. So the other thing we've been looking at in a lot of our cameras now is actually how we improve autofocus, because that's becoming one of those things that people want and use and such like. And we're seeing our development in our chips that actually make that a lot more possible. So we've actually done a lot in this camera of face recognition.
Sure.
And where we can actually have multiple faces in there and you pick the face you want to keep on. So it focuses on that face and then we'll actually follow that face as it goes along.
So I can literally pick a person and it will track along either way.
Yep.
Out of frame as well, when someone walks out.
So some of the processes we are is rather than actually go searching, it'll actually keep looking for that person and then put it back in.
So they could walk out of frame, back in, and it'll pick that person back up.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Okay, so the other thing we actually looked at then is it's a 4K camera. So what we have actually added to the 280 is we've actually added a 12G SDI.
Oh, output, okay.
So we can output directly out as 4K rather than the 4 outputs we used to have in some other 4K cameras.
Yeah.
On the 180, I just meant that's only it's only a 3G, so therefore it can't do that. You have to use the HDMI to get 4K out. On both cameras, we've actually upgraded to an Oled display on the actual viewfinders.
Sure.
The 280 is a lot higher pic matrix density, so therefore it's a lot sharper.
Yeah.
And the other thing we've looked to do is actually to prove its ergonomics. Okay. So what we've tried to do, definitely from input we got from users with the 200, and we've sort of moved the centre of gravity. We've made it a lot easier to get in and adjust. So we've really thought about how someone uses this in a
Yeah, I did
long-term
notice
environment.
actually there's a slightly bigger gap around the focus and zoom barrel, so I'm guessing that's one of the ergonomic changes that have been made.
Yeah, and a lot of people with the 200 they thought was slightly top heavy with the lens.
Okay.
So the central gravity has been put
moved back
Yeah,
as well.
so you can hold it here in a lot better way.
Now, Robbie, one more thing that I did notice on this camera was that there's 2 MI shoes. Can you tell us a bit about those?
To be honest, it's something we've been asked for quite a long time.
Okay.
And the main reason is a lot of people don't want the actual audio on the front.
No, of course, you want your top light there, don't you?
Yeah, yeah. So, and obviously we have a position to actually put a top light on and actually switch it on and off relative to record mode as well. So what we've done here, there are 2 MI shoes.
Okay.
So therefore you can actually put in an MI shoe for the audio at the back and actually put your light in the front.
Light on the front.
Yeah.
That's brilliant stuff, that.
Yeah. So you can't put 2 radio mics in. So
Okay.
you would have to actually go.
Still one radio mic. And audio control, is that still within the menu, or has that now the audio pots?
Again, another function that we're asked for a lot is actually have all the audio available as manual control. So
Okay.
This is a 4-channel.
So
camera.
you've now got 4 pots on the side of the camera rather than
Yeah.
software driven.
Yeah.
That's
so
excellent.
in this setup, we have 2 channels coming in here and our dual wireless mic, and we'll also then have the inputs for the XLR, so we can have
Excellent
4 in. We also have another box we can put on, which then gives us the XLRs in.
Yeah.
So therefore we can have 4
And
wired
that's the
straight to the relay.
XLR K2M, if I'm not wrong. Is that the one?
You are spot on. So adding those has really helped what we want, and actually I think a lot of people would prefer that. They can actually do what they want with it, really.
Definitely. In terms of setup, that makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. Okay, so we've also added in different codecs into here as well,
Okay.
and also different recording formats. So it will do almost everything that we've actually done before.
Sure.
So we actually put into the camera, we have added S-Log3.
Okay.
There's HLG.
Yep.
So therefore we can do that, and we have the free gamma profiles that we provide on the Z70 and all the other cameras that can do HLG. It will also do MPEG 2,
Yep.
HD,
Yep.
in both formats, which
Yep.
is the 420 and the 422.
422 at 10-bit.
Yeah, and it will also even do DVCam.
Oh, okay.
So therefore it has a...
Going back some there?
We're going back some, but there are still people that still are using it.
Absolutely.
The good thing, so it can actually do everything. So we can do the long GOP recording, and obviously all the functions we've always had where we can actually simultaneous record, or we can relay record, we can actually do all those normally.
Excellent stuff.
Because it does 600 megabits, it's S/S cars.
Okay.
And also, but you can put other formats into there as well, as long as it's quick enough to do it.
The 190 is S/S as well, or is that something
No, that's
else?
SD. So,
Okay.
so that doesn't have to do the 600 megabits. What it does, it will do the long GOP format where
Okay.
it gives us a maximum of 150
And that's
megabits.
SD cards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great stuff.
One of the other things we were asked for is also how do you dump stuff off? And it's always been the ability, you have to have a computer there.
Sure.
So we've added actually a USB host onto here, so I can actually plug in a USB drive and actually dump the footage directly onto a USB
So literally
drive.
plug in your hard drive, copy it over,
then
and you're done.
And you're done, yeah.
Wow.
We've also added LANC control across both of these, so therefore these actually fit in with our MCX 500,
Sure.
where we can actually use that with Tally and set up the system where we can actually have 3 cameras or 4 cameras working, and work them between a mixing desk.
So it's all become standardised in both?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
where they used to be slightly different
Sure.
on control mechanisms. So what we've tried to do is take those 14 things and make it a lot better.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Does this have the same functionality as the PXW-Z280, which of course this is a successor to, in terms of file transfer?
We definitely see at Sony that actually the way you would deliver your footage will change in the future.
Yeah.
And everybody's looking how the camera will change to do that. So, and obviously you can have different ways of doing that. We've done that in the past, but really if people want to do it on the camera. So what we've added to both of these is the ability to put on 2 dongles.
Okay.
So you can
So
two
that's
4G.
4G dongles.
Yeah, and that but obviously we have our own XT-Cam Air system, which it's worked with, which gives it a very clean and quality signal back to base, and we're working with lots of the news agencies and trying that out and to show that we can actually provide really good pictures straight from the field.
Wow.
So definitely what we are looking at here is the ability to actually do really good streaming or taking back proxies or taking back high res, or actually sending EDLs back in and then pulling back the high res that actually is going to be used in the edit with handles.
Sure.
So trying to make that process very quick.
Yeah.
For the future. So really, what we've looked to make is a camera that is 4K, but is actually then future-proof for delivery into sort of the news agencies and even into sort of the smaller companies that actually want to actually get the thing straight away.
Sure, and that can be to your own FTP server as well as to XDCam Air, or?
Yeah, so we will deliver XDCam Air as a service that we can provide,
yeah.
But from the basic camera we can have normal UDP type mechanism to actually deliver streams, and we can also then do FTP transfers. We do see the 280 as the sort of the flagship model, and it's sort of a successor to the X200.
Yep.
And then we see the 190 as a successor to the X180.
Okay.
So that's really where they sit. What we're seeing on the 280, I'm just going to go through these. So we will definitely, this is obviously, it's got 1/2-inch chips, so therefore the picture quality will be better. Yep. Both of them have a zoom ability of doubling the zoom, extending the extra zoom, because obviously if you're in HD mode, you can double the optical. So therefore you
and
can...
that's a crop in from the 4K sensor.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on this is a 25 times zoom, so actually you're going to get 50.
Okay.
So actually you will have a camera that can actually do an amazing amount of actual zoom.
And are they the same zoom ratio on both, or is that?
They'll both be 50. So this does 17 times, and this then does 25 times. So it's just double those.
Sure.
So the other thing, the difference is this will have HLG.
Okay.
Yeah. But this has S-Log as well.
Okay.
So because this has a lot higher formats and can do 600 megabits, we see actually if you're shooting S-Log free and then this is a second camera or third camera, you can actually then have the same type of footage, so it goes through the edit process the same way. So
absolutely. And they both have the same network functionality. They both take 2 dongles, or?
They both can take 2 dongles, but there will be a licensing on the 190.
Okay.
What we've tried to do is get the price point right, and there's options on the 190 to actually bring it up to more what you can actually do with it. So to add things like MPEG-2 HD codec into here, that's an option, and also there'll be an option to actually put then the wireless features, or some of the wireless features that we actually have as well.
That's brilliant. I've noticed this one's also got gen lock. Is that another difference between the two, or?
Yeah, so we've always had that on the 200 anyway, so therefore we do see that as a camera that you can actually put into the market. It sits in studio environments and such like, where you don't find that on the other cameras.
Absolutely, and the other one is obviously the SDI outputs, isn't it?
Yeah, so 3G against 12G. Yeah, correct.
That's brilliant stuff.